how's it going? Caitlin here, and welcome to my kitchen for another week of meal prep. I hope you're excited for the week ahead, for the meal ahead. 3 meals. The meals on the menu this week are fried chicken sandwiches, quesadillas, and goulash. If that sounds good to you, sounds good to me. Be sure to grab your prep list if you don't have it yet. If you don't have it yet, check the description in this video. You'll find everything you need right there to make it all too easy. Speaking of all too easy, I've got 3 varying levels of prep depending on your time constraints, your energy levels, or just your level of motivation today. That's okay. If you want to get the time to table results you do see in the meal plan, you're gonna want to go all the way with me to level 3, okay? Are we ready to get started? If you are cooking your protein for your quesadilla in advance, you can start doing that now if you'd like. That is part of level 3, but level 3 sometimes it's stuff that we can do that does itself while we're doing other things. So if you're gonna make some chicken or something like that, you can go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to cook up my chicken for my quesadillas on the same night that I'm doing my fried chicken sandwiches. That way I'm just doing a whole bunch and I'm basically just using leftovers for the quesadillas. So that is my plan. So if you want to steal my plan, you go right ahead. Now we're gonna start with level 1. All right, so gives you options, because really, like, yes, we do have a plan. These onions are massive. They're like Goliath onions. Okay, so we do have a plan, but what's important to know is that you are the one who makes the plan work for your family. So if you see something and you're like, nobody in my house is gonna eat that, don't make that. Change it up a little bit. Use it to inspire, maybe use the same ingredients and throw a twist on it, make it your own way. Don't want goulash, maybe you're gonna make tacos that night instead. Whatever, like, take what you can to make everything all around easier. That's what this is here for. And also, if you're here, odds are that you have some kind of dietary sensitivities or limitations of some sort. So there are, in the meal plan, you will find dairy-free and grain-free alternatives, or paleo. What if you need to make any other modifications? This is also meant to be very flexible, okay? You can substitute one thing for another thing without throwing the whole baby out with the bathwater type of deal. So, chopping an onion. You can use a knife if you want to. You don't have to, use a fancy food chopper. My hands are a little shaky today, so I'd rather trust a food chopper than trust my hands around a knife for the most part. Chop mine pretty fine, mostly because I like to hide my veggies as much as I can from my children, as any good mother does. It's a tried and true tradition as old as time. Try to hide those vegetables from children. Force them to eat healthier things. Here we go. Onion chopped. I'm gonna mince some garlic, so mine's ready. If you wanted to, if you already have a jar of garlic in your fridge that's already minced, cool, use that. If you choose to mince garlic, I just dropped one in there. Make sure that you preserve your garlic by covering it in oil, okay? That is the easiest way to make sure that it doesn't go funky and wonky in a few days in the fridge. Just cutting off the little you know, the little knobby end. I'm gonna be mincing my garlic. I'm using, it's called a garlic prep tool. It minces garlic for you. You can obviously use a knife. But the garlic prep tool, it's kind of nice. You can slice, you can mince, you can make a paste. I've never once made a paste. I don't have the time or energy or motivation to make a paste, but the option's always there. And I'm one of those people, I'm like, just because I'm not going to do it doesn't mean I don't want to have the option to do it. Like, if all of a sudden I woke up one day and I felt like super motivated and I'm like, dude, I'm going to make garlic paste today, I know I got something to do it. Ooh. See, shaky hands today. Ooh. I'm going to slice these in half just so the mince is smaller. Now it's as easy as putting, it looks like a little mini washing machine or something like that. I don't know. I think it's cute. I like cute things. All right, so I got my garlic in there. Now I'm just gonna put a little oil over top of it. I don't mind having oil in my recipe, that's gonna be fine. But this keeps the garlic from going bad. I think garlic's one of those things, like, if it's not stored properly, then it can actually be quite dangerous. So it's one of those things that you want to make sure you have stored properly. So there we go. I'm just going to store it right in that same thing, right in the fridge, just like that. Keep it easy. If you want to, you can prep toppings for your chicken sandwich now. Whatever you want to throw on there, whatever you think sounds like it would be delicious on a chicken burger, it probably will be. So I'm just going to cut up some lettuce, and actually I'm going to cut up, instead of lettuce, because hey, I get to make modifications to my own plan too. I'm gonna chop up some Napa cabbage. I do try, for the most part, to eat grain-free. It just, I'll have some here and there, but for the most part, I feel better when I don't have it. Dog hair in that dish. If you think that's gross, you obviously don't have a dog. Napa cabbage is like my BFF for grain-free, because it is just, it's flexible, okay? Hear me out. So, Napa cabbage, not quite as soft as lettuce, not quite as rough as cabbage. Like, you know, cabbage and lettuce just had a baby and named it Napa. But it lets you use it for different things. So, I will use it. It's my go-to replacement for rice. I will just put a little oil in a pan and just kind of cook it up for a second so that it's hot. So that's nice and easy. I do find it soft enough that I will use it for a salad, or I will use it to make a quick coleslaw. It doesn't have to sit as long as regular cabbage for it to soften up to coleslaw standards, which is nice. So I'm just gonna cut a whole bunch of this. I mean, you can throw extra bits of it in pretty much anything you feel like. I like that you can do it raw, you can do it cooked, you can add it into a stir fry or serve a stir fry on top of it. So that's my thing. I like my Napa cabbage. I might do a little bit more. I mean, it's relatively inexpensive considering how much of it you get. I'm gonna serve my fried chicken sandwich just on a bed of Napa cabbage with whatever toppings I feel like on top of that. I'm gonna have a little bit on the side with the quesadillas for lettuce. And I'm gonna throw some in my goulash to act as my noodles too. So that Napa cabbage is gonna see some love this week. If you're wondering, can you get too much Napa cabbage? I don't know, probably not. I'm gonna err on the side of, it's probably fine. Okay. So if you want to shred some, if you want to prepare any toppings for quesadillas, go wild. I'm gonna chop up my pepper. A nice smelling pepper. I love it when they're just like, they get that perfect bit of freshness and you just get that, like, smacks you right across the nose with its deliciousness. So, quesadilla fillings, once again, they can be anything you want. Look in your fridge, see what you gotta use up in that crisper. Because odds are it's going to be able to fit into something that you got going on this week. Like whether you're sneaking it in as a side dish, whether you wanna put it inside or on top of your quesadilla, or worst case scenario, just throw it in with your goulash. Goulash is meant to like use up some odds and ends here and there. So look in your fridge, see what you got for odds and ends. So you can definitely get that process now. Also, if you decide you want to do veggies as a side dish for any of the meals this week, like some veggies and ranch dip might go lovely with your chicken burgers. Maybe you want to throw some ranch on your chicken burger too. I'm definitely throwing some ranch on my chicken burger. Sorry, I'm excited about chicken burgers. Which I should say, because I know some people are terrified of deep frying, especially in oil on the stovetop. If you choose not to do that, that's okay. You can buy yourself some gluten-free chicken burgers in the freezer section of your grocery store if you want to, and you can use those. Or you can make yourself grilled chicken burger and avoid the deep frying altogether. Make this work for you. I don't want you having a heart attack or getting stressed out. I just want you having, you know, less stress. So I love to make a good deep fried burger every now and then because they're delicious. I'm gonna make extra. Here we go. So depending on what else you want to do for level one, level one is now completed. Fantastic, good job. You're rocking it. Okay, gonna put together some breading for the chicken burgers. Like I said, I am gonna do a little extra, and I am doing mine grain-free, which you can find that in the tip section. Is. Where are you, tapioca? There it is. And since this is cooking instead of baking, you can kind of ish it a bit as well, which is nice. Is there a little bit of science in the measurements? Yeah, but not enough that you can't fish it. fantastic. And you know what? I hope that the measurements on the batter for the chicken, I hope it's, you know, kind of easy enough that you could just remember it another day. It's pretty simple. There we go. Yeah. Give it a little shake in there. She's ready to go. Which I'm gonna store mine right on the counter. You can put it in the cupboard if your kitchen is less cluttered than mine. Good for you, don't brag. Do not brag. So, you know yourself how cheesy or non-cheesy you and your family are. So, for the quesadillas, I recommend about a half a cup-ish per quesadilla, okay? Because that way it keeps it memorable, whether it's whether you're making one quesadilla or whether you're making 7. You know how much you're doing. If you're like half a cup is for sissies, increase it. I'm just gonna do up a whole bunch because if there's extra cheese left over, don't laugh. If there's extra cheese left over, I'm just gonna use it and throw it on top of the goulash as well. Because I don't think you can go wrong there. And you can do these meals in any order that you want to do it in. I'm doing it in the order that I'm doing it, that I put it in. Only because that first night when I'm cooking chicken, I'm gonna cook chicken for the next night too, and then whatever is left over that's not used for toppings and stuff like that for the quesadillas, veggie-wise, is going to be going into the goulash just to have it used up, okay? So that's why I did it the way that I did it, but you can use any method to your madness that you prefer. So if you're my paleo people and you're wondering, what the heck am I gonna do for quesadillas? That sounds extremely un-paleo friendly. We're gonna do like kind of the paleo version, which is omelet. Why not? You still get to stuff it with whatever you feel like stuffing it with. You get the extra protein with the egg instead of having the grains of the tortilla. And you can still top it with everything else that you would normally put on a fajita. You can throw your salsa on there. You can throw guacamole on there, lettuce, you know, herbs, whatever you're feeling, whatever you got. It's one of those meals where it's like your creativity is the limit for it, right? Trying to shred that last little bit of cheese. Okay, close enough. We did good. We did good. I feel good about it. So you can also skip shredding cheese by just buying a bag of shredded cheese. However, it's one of those things like once you start prepping, you kind of get in the zone for it, and then it's like, well, so what if I shred some cheese? If you shred your own cheese, you do get more options over what you are. You do get more options on what kind of cheese that you use. You get fewer ingredients. So I don't know if you've noticed, but when you make your own cheese, or when you shred your own cheese, it tends to clump up more than the stuff you get at the store. So they got to put things in it when you get it at the store so that doesn't happen. Not end of the world, but it's one of those things that's fairly easy to, you know, just shred it up while you're here. Okay, gonna mix up seasonings for the goulash. Yes, it takes 5 seconds. No, I don't want to do it at 5 p.m. Maybe that makes me lazy. I feel like it makes me human. Because I feel like you live a whole life before dinner time most days. So, just the little luxury of being able to dump your seasonings in and not have to dig them out of the cupboard and measure them can make all the difference in the world between you actually making supper, you making a healthy supper, or, you know, takeout. Okay, that's it for level 2, guys. Oh, man, we are just rocking it. Let's go on to level 3, shall we? So, I'm gonna butterfly some chicken breasts for this. This is for making the burgers. And also whatever's left over from the burgers that we don't turn into burgers, turning into protein quesadilla. So I butterfly them because, well, it just cooks better for the burgers. Like, otherwise you end up with a ridiculously thick burger. Maybe that's a good thing for you. You know what? Before I do this, I know, squirrel brain. Okay, I'm gonna get my buttermilk ready. So it's a very scientific way to making buttermilk. You don't need to have buttermilk. When you read buttermilk, well, I can do this really easily. Just dump some milk or alternative milk into, I have a marinating bag here. It's silicone, it doesn't leak. And then just throw a splash of lemon juice in there. That's probably more than a splash, but whatever, it'll be fine. Give it a little stir, a little shake. There we go. So I am now going to butterfly these chicken breasts, but I get my buttermilk ready. So after I butterfly these, I'm gonna just dump them right in there, and then they can soak in the buttermilk until I cook them either tonight or tomorrow. Probably be tonight. As soon as I make chicken burgers, I'm craving chicken burgers. It's a thing. Not ashamed to admit it. All right, next one. Oh, also to butterfly, you can buy your chicken already butterflied, and that is a very safe way to do it, but you do pay a premium for it. You're going to pay more for somebody to cut your chicken breast in half like this. If you were doing it otherwise, it can also be quite dangerous. I don't want you to hurt yourself. This is called a close and cut, and it's what I use to do it. It's spring-loaded on either side so that it will cut your breasts perfectly in half. You can also use it for bagels, or if you're prepping food for small kids, you can use it for grapes or tomatoes, or we've used it for little breakfast sausages and stuff because, you know, paranoid and think that that's going to be the end of my child. But this does it all, does it really quick, keeps me from slicing my fingers, which I appreciate, and it keeps it all balanced and uniform in it. I just, there's something about that I really like too. It's kind of good for my soul. Perfect. Now those are sitting in the buttermilk. So that'll sit in my fridge, and then that'll be ready to just dredge into the flour and smush in and, you know, fry those up later on tonight. I hope that you enjoy the meals this week. I hope you also enjoy the feeling of being prepared for the week ahead. So each day when you go to your fridge and you know exactly what you're having for dinner and you have everything prepared for it in the fridge and you're just grabbing it out and throwing it together, lean into that feeling, embrace that feeling, because whether you know it or not, what you just did was self-care, and it's going to hopefully trickle on through the rest of your week. So I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a delicious week, and I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.